bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Well, I'm glad you could join us. We're both about to learn some things about the Public Utilities Commission from Paul Clanon, who just happens to be the executive director. Nice to see you again, Paul.
Good to see you, Jack.
I know you've got some workshops coming up, bringing big businesses and general contractors and things together, but I want to talk to you about the general role of the PUC and Mr. Average here, you know, and how we can communicate with the PUC about various problems. You cover a wide variety of areas.
It's an interesting year for us. This is our 100th year in existence. The PUC was formed
I didn't know that.
by a constitutional amendment in California in 1911. So January of next year of 2011 will be our 100th anniversary. So it's gotten us all thinking about the last 100 years and all the different things that the PUC has been responsible for and helped out with and done for consumers.
How are you going to celebrate 100 years? Turn off all the lights?
We're going to make sure they stay on, Jack. We're going to make sure they stay on, and that'll be our celebration.
Well, the problem, I would say one of the problems, of the many problems, I mean, there's so much demand for power and electricity and more for every device that comes up from Apple or someplace, you know, it's more power. How do you stay on top of it?
Well, the Public Utilities Commission, and it's a little known fact, we're headquartered in San Francisco. We're one of just a couple state agencies not headquartered in Sacramento. And that was because 100 years ago, the people setting up the commission wanted us to be separate from politics. They were afraid.
I see. That's the way it was.
They were afraid that the utility lobbyists were taking over Sacramento 100 years ago, let me say.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah. And you know, the world has changed a lot in some ways, and in some ways it hasn't. Our fundamental job is to be the voice of the consumer when it comes to utilities and lots of other big businesses that are regulated by the state. Specifically in energy, California actually has a great record. The last 30 years or so, even though we've all got computers, we've got more TVs in the house, there's a lot more appliances using electricity. We've done such a good job as Californians of being efficient with energy that our use per person is actually pretty flat over the last 30 years.
I am very surprised to hear that, considering, as you point out, computers and handheld devices of all sorts.
And it doesn't just happen. It really does require everybody, when you buy a house, make sure that it gets insulated. When you buy an appliance, make sure it's an Energy Star appliance.
Yeah.
The other thing we're doing, of course, is even when we have to generate electricity, even though we're not using more and more per person, there's more of us. So we have needed more electricity.
That's what I was thinking about, the population growth.
The population's growing, and what California is doing to meet that demand is really emphasizing renewable power. Solar power, wind power, geothermal power, wave energy is being researched, lots of other forms. And that's creating a really exciting new world for us old-timers in the electricity industry. That's a brand new world.
I'm just a kid, Paul. I don't worry about that kind of thing. I want to ask you, though, when you talk about wind power and so forth, you know, putting up those big towers with those big propellers on there and killing the birds and things like that, there's a lot of comment about that. How involved is the PUC in setting those things up?
Yeah, the PUC is very involved. I mean, we're your voice. We're the voice of the consumer in deciding how many of those wind plants should be built, how much money should be paid for the power that comes from those wind developments. And let me just run right in and say that there's been a lot of good development by the wind turbine manufacturers to help reduce the number of birds that get killed.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure there's
been
controversy about that.
It is, and appropriately so. You know, we don't want to be creating a biological problem while we're solving an energy problem.
Exactly. Okay. And plus, they don't look that attractive anyway on the hills.
No, I have to say, I like them. I'm on the Don Quixote side.
Oh, you're on that? Build more windmills. Huh?
I like the windmills, but I know not everyone feels that way.
Yeah. And things about bills, for example. People, just your average person, again, you know, here I am. You get bills, telephone company or cable bills or whatever, and you don't feel right about it. You think you're getting worked over or something. Can they come direct? Can they call and get some help?
They absolutely can. So we are your voice. We're the voice of the consumer when it comes to your utility service. So you don't understand your bill. Actually, on your bill is my phone number, is the PUC phone number. Call that number.
Not your home number, I hope.
Not my home number. Don't call that one.
Yeah.
But call the number that's on your bill. We'll help you understand your bill. If there's a problem with your bill, and it's not unheard of, mistakes get made.
Right.
We'll help you in dealing with the utility to get it fixed.
Okay, Paul, great having you here. And next time, you bring your bass. And as you said, Paul told me, you said, people open doors for you when you carry a big musical instrument. Is that right?
More so than when you're just a government bureaucrat.
All right, Paul Clanon's been our guest, Executive Director of the California PUC. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Paul, very much.